What's up, Matthew?
What's up, brother?
How you doing?
Good, man. You convinced me to get the sign up. It's propped up between two things here. It's not hung properly, but I was like, you know what? I can at least get like something going on here.
I was just gonna say the first thing I saw was that sign. That looks awesome.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So you make those?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, not personally, but we partner with someone who does the actual cutting of them. But yeah, our business made out of metal does them.
I like them. I like
Thanks,
them.
man.
I
Yeah, I'll show you real quick. You can like change colors.
like.
There's like 40 different color options you can get on it, so it's pretty cool.
Are they pretty heavy?
It's about 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, so shipping it's a pain in the ass, but we've gone through that headache and figured out how to do it as cheaply as possible.
Yeah. Where do you sell them at?
Just online. I've just been doing like this is my third one. We did one for Clint Riggin down in Florida. I don't know if you know him.
Uh-uh.
Fitness guy, his LC Limitless Coaching with his tagline, and then one of our clients locally is an audiologist, and she has a cool logo, so we cut one for her. So I've just been documenting like the process from like the design to the cut to the powder coating, and then the final piece. Just sharing them occasionally online, and I've gotten some pretty good feedback for so far.
I think they're awesome.
Thanks,
Good
man.
job. I
Yeah, I
when
like it a
I
lot.
This is the logo for the podcast.
Okay,
So I've sponsored a couple fighters, and I guess it's too detailed
I
for
say I
some.
look super detailed. Yeah,
Yeah, so one of the fighters had it on. I'm like, wait, that's not what I sent them, but as long as you get it
yeah,
out there, it's good.
yeah, yep.
Nice. So how you doing?
Good, man. No complaints. How about
Yeah,
yourself?
I'm hanging in there. Right before
Good,
this
man.
little shit was hitting the fan, but my son just woke up and he's cranky, and it's just
Okay.
yeah, he's
How
8. So
eight? Okay. I was saying how many kids you have and what are their ages?
yeah, I just have the one boy. He's 8 years
Okay.
old.
Okay.
He's a character. We does jujitsu and fighting, and
Awesome.
he's on spring break right now, so he woke up this morning and he's ready to surf already. I'm like, my man, I got some stuff to do.
Yeah, right.
So I guess that's what pissed him off in the beginning, and now it's just gone downhill from there.
Yeah, you didn't give him what he wanted immediately. It's like the rest of the day is fucked.
Exactly. So he's making my wife and I's morning miserable already. So misery
Yeah.
loves company, right?
Yeah. I've got a 4-year-old daughter, a 2-year-old, and the 4-year-old loves to make life miserable in the mornings. Like
Yeah.
just nothing you can do is right. You're like,
Are they
okay.
both girls?
I got two girls, and then we're expecting twins in June.
Wow!
A boy and a
Congratulations!
girl. Yep. So we'll have four of them, and I'll have one little boy in the mix.
Wow, twins, huh? We did
Yep.
IVF with my son, and that was an option. Uh,
Okay.
and you kind of want them. You're like, yeah, I want twins. And then after I had
Yeah.
him, I'm like, oh my god, I don't know what I would have done with two of those.
Yeah, dude. I know. I'm there. We're in the
Yeah,
midst of it. So we're like, just today, actually, we finally started cleaning out the third bedroom. It was just like a storage room, and taking stuff to the storage room in the basement. And I'm like, this is getting more and more real all of a sudden. Like, obviously, it's real. We know, and her belly's huge. So like, I see it daily. But I'm like, okay, like now we're setting up cribs, and like, there's two of them, and she keeps like, take that to the twins room, and I'm like, oh my god, that's a twins room. I'm like, there's two of them. Like, get your mind right, Matt. Get ready. So
so you're gonna have when do they do? The twins?
technically July 10th, I think, but they won't go full term. Like they don't let you go full term with twins. So
Yeah.
we're expecting to meet them mid to end of June is kind of if she goes as far as she can.
So about a 4-year-old, 2-year-old, and newborns. My
I know,
man.
man. I know. Trust me. Yeah, I know.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Well, get sleep while you can right now. I don't even know if you're getting it now, but oof.
Not
Yeah.
much. Nah, our 4-year-old likes to climb into our bed in the middle of the night, and we're trying to break it, but we'll break it for like a week, and then she'll re-break us, and then we break it for a couple days, and then she breaks us again. So I'm like, I just got
Yeah.
kicked in the lip 3 times 2 nights ago. I could have sworn I was going to wake up with a bloody or swollen lip because it's like she just flails, and like 3 times I caught the heel right in my lip. I'm like,
Yeah.
ah,
It's
Lord,
funny, somebody
yeah,
sent a meme or posted a meme where what you think you're getting when your kid's sleeping with you all cuddly and nice, and then what
sweet,
you
yeah,
actually get is like arm barred and necktie,
yep,
and
I know.
it's a
And we have
full
a
on
king
MMA
size
minute.
bed, yeah, and it's like I get like literally maybe a third of it, probably not
Yeah.
even, probably like 15% of the bed I get, and then
I
she
learned
sleeps horizontally. So I'm like, what the fuck?
yeah, I learned quickly that I just sleep on the couch, like if he's sick or something, and she's like, "Let him
Yeah,
sleep with us." I'm like, "All right, I'm going to the couch. Peace out."
yeah, that's
Yeah.
gonna be my new strategy.
Yeah. Well, good luck, my man. Congratulations.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Where are
Yeah.
you
So
located, real quick? Are you in
yeah,
Cali?
we're in California. We're in
What
SoCal.
part?
Laguna, like right on Laguna
Okay.
Niguel, Laguna Beach.
Awesome, man.
I'm on a hill right here, and across the street is Laguna Beach, so we're on the Laguna
Awesome.
Niguel side.
Okay.
So
I lived in San Diego for 5 years, so I went to Laguna Beach quite a few times just to like get away for the day and enjoy it. So that's
yeah,
a beautiful area, man.
it's a cool little beach community. Like we used to live in Huntington, and my wife grew up in Laguna, so she's always trying to get us back here. It's just more hills, trees, more
Yeah.
scenic.
Yep.
Huntington is just kind of flat, and Huntington Beach is coming more like Venice Beach now,
Okay.
where a lot of homeless, a lot of shady characters.
Yeah.
Growing with our son, and I was like, yeah, we're trying to go to the beach, and you have to go through 3 different protests. It's like, I'm
Yeah.
over it.
Pass. Yeah,
So
exactly.
she was
Yeah.
stoked to get me out of there, and then we moved to Cabo for a bit, Mexico during COVID, and when everything was going all squirrely out here, we
Yeah.
just came back to actually a month. We've been here a month, so
Okay.
yeah, it's good. Starting to our son's homeschooled, so it doesn't really matter where we go with him.
Nice.
My
Yeah.
wife and I both work from home, so we're kind of mobile. We can do whatever we want. So
Yeah. Has
this
he
is
always been homeschool or just since COVID bullshit?
yeah. Well, we what did we do? Right in March 2 years ago, he was going to a Catholic school,
Okay.
and everything went haywire. So we took him out, and I give credit to my wife 100%. The more she researched it and looked to it, she's like, "There's no need for him to go back to a regular school. Let's just do the homeschooling."
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, "Well, what is that? Like, I got to start being the teacher because I'm not a
Yeah.
teacher."
Yeah.
And so the more I researched it, the more we looked into it. It's like, yeah, because especially now with these teachers teaching what they want and not, you
Yep.
send a kid off to school for 6 to 8 hours, and who knows what the hell they're getting put in their heads. And a
Yep.
lot of the crap is, especially out here in California, is
Yeah.
not what I want my son to be learning about right now.
Yep.
Everybody can have their thing, but just don't, just like with anything, religion, politics, whatever, just don't throw it down their throats.
Not at school. Yeah.
Yeah, and at 8 years old is to learn and have fun and be a kid, not learn
Yep.
about rainbow trannies. I don't
I
know.
know. Yeah. No, I'm right there with you, man. I'm
Yeah,
having the same conversations with my wife because my oldest is in like a 2-day week preschool, and eventually, within the next year or two, she's going to be. The plan was always public school, and we live in a really good school district. And I'm like, I don't know if I want our kids in public school, like, and even Catholic schools. Like, I don't know if I want them in Catholic school, like.
yeah,
So, and she was a second grade teacher for I think 8 or 9 years before we got married and we had kids. So she's like, I don't know. Like when I had kids that are homeschooled, they were a little different. And I'm like, oh, like different is good. Like I
yeah,
want my kids to be different. Like I don't want them to be part of the cog and like
yeah,
you said, learning about I was born this way, but I'm not that, and I want to transition to that. I'm like I always say, I don't care who you are, what you do. Like if you're good people and you don't hurt other people, I'm fine with it. But an
yeah,
8-year-old doesn't need to be learning about it. Period. Like
100%.
have
What
fun, be
what you
kind.
could what you could look into out there is what we did too. Is there's pods they call them, and so what they're
Okay.
doing is like say if she was a teacher in her past, she could
Yep.
start teaching her if she wants to. I'm just saying in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah. Yep.
Have a teacher, and what teachers are doing, and they're finding it's more lucrative to have a family hire them, and then they get 5 or 6 of other kids, and then
Yep.
you just have like say you can rent out a space, an office space, or you can have your
Yep.
home converted into
Yep.
it, but somehow get like-minded people together, and then have that
Yeah.
teacher there.
That's
So that's
exactly
what we
it.
did in Cabo. We hired a teacher, and she taught what we wanted him to learn. And
Yeah.
then out here in California, he goes to it's called ILA, Independent Learning Academy. So that
Okay.
way, it's a homeschool, but it's also a campus. So a lot of the kids
Yeah.
that are being homeschooled go here, um, and that way, when they call it Learning Academy, it doesn't have to go through all the mandates that California is doing every freaking other
Okay.
day. So it dodges some bullets there, but it's also we pick the teachers. They have their bio and everything that we know about the teacher, and it's like
Yeah.
college. We piece together a curriculum for the day.
That's
So
awesome.
he goes from like 8:30 to 3:10, and he has Spanish, English, math, all the core stuff, and
Yep.
then wood shop, bake. He
Yeah.
likes to bake, whatever.
Yeah.
Skate. I mean, we make it. So it's like when we go to
Yeah.
college, you just kind of I want that class, I want that class. It's
Yep.
handpicked, and so he
That's the
loves
way
it.
it should be.
Yeah,
Yeah. Good for you
I think
guys.
I think it's gonna be a lot more. I mean, a lot more people are doing it. The more I mean,
Yeah.
we're in a homeschool kind of community where we know a lot about it,
Yeah.
but you find more and more people are starting to like the public school is
Yeah.
not what it used to be when I was a kid. I'm 47, and
Yep.
I don't think there was a lot of options when I was a kid. There was a couple privates
Yeah.
in our area, and I didn't go to them, but
Yep.
it's different times for sure.
Scary times. I keep saying I'm hoping the tide. I feel like the tide is turning. To what extent and how quickly is just the main question. It's like
Yeah,
how quickly can we like eliminate the evil and get back into like core values of America and like family and all that stuff. So
yeah,
I'm hoping it's within the next year or two, but who knows?
yeah. All we gotta do is keep spreading the word, and maybe
That's it, man. Yep.
see how many people we can get to the good side again.
Do our job. Yep.
Yeah. So I got a little bit about you, but I know you own a marketing company as well, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So
Yep. That's our main
basically,
business.
you're an entrepreneur, you're a husband, you're a dad, another dad to be.
Yep.
Tell me about yourself. Let's just kick it off. I mean, we've already gone about 10 minutes into this,
Yeah.
shooting the
Yeah,
shit.
man. Yeah. So, yeah, our my main business is RODA Marketing, digital marketing, pretty much everything digital marketing. So, website design, development, social media, reputation management, paid ads, email marketing campaigns. We do that for about 40 different clients on a monthly basis right now, retainer based. We do one-off jobs too for like website design development, but our main business model is the like pay us every month and we handle all your digital marketing for you. That's my brother and myself. We own and operate that. There's three full-time employees, my brother, myself, and his wife. And then we have I think we're about 21 or 22 independent contractors that do like different parts of the project, whatever they specialize in. So pretty big team. Been doing that for 12 years, coming up with 13 years now. In August, we'll be celebrating our 13-year anniversary. So that's pretty cool. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, and I really, really enjoy that. Right now I'm stuck working in the business. My biggest challenge and kind of like where I'm at with that is trying to pull myself out of it and work on the business. And it's challenging. It's super challenging, but
Yeah.
it's a good challenge to have.
What did you do before? Were you in a corporate position before, or what did you do
Yeah,
before?
so I graduated college, and was my plan was to go to law school and to be an attorney. And then last semester of college, I was just like, no, not happening. Like I saw my sister graduate third in her class in law school, and she couldn't get a good job. So I was like, I'm not busting my ass for 3 years to
Yeah.
not be able to find work. So last semester of college, I played a poker game, won that poker game, made like $400, bought a plane ticket to California to go visit my buddy who lived out in San Diego. He was going to college out there. I remember getting off the plane and being like, wow, it's really warm and sunny and these palm trees are beautiful. And then like literally I was sitting there waiting for like my buddy to come pick me up at the airport. And like three people, total strangers, were like, hey, how's it going? Hey, how are you? I'm like, people are fucking friendly. I'm like, this is awesome. Cause like back east, like you run into friendly people, but you also run into people who are just like head down or like have a chip on their shoulder. And it's kind of that East Coast attitude. So right
Yeah.
away, I was like, this is really cool here. And so I visited him for like a week, went back home, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna move to California. I was like, like I don't want to go to law school. I'm just gonna go to Cali. My mom was like, I got into a lot of trouble in high school and college. So when I told my mom that, I was like, I don't want to be an attorney. I'm gonna move to California. She sat me on the edge of her bed and she was like, don't do it. And I'm like, what do you mean don't do it? She's like, you had a plan, stick to the plan. I'm like, nah, I think I'm gonna change it. She's like, you're gonna end up dead or in jail. And I was like, oh, like there's a vote of confidence. And I always say what I put her through, that was a fair statement because like that's kind of the reality I was creating for myself. But it
Yeah.
still kind of stung hearing your mom be like, don't do what you want, like, because you're going to die or be in jail. So I was like, shit. So I ended up working 3 months in Lancaster here, back where I was born and raised, saved up like $2,000 in cash, packed my car, and drove out there. I think it was end of August. And I got a corporate job out there pretty much right away just to pay bills. Like I blew through that $2,000 super fast. So I was processing student loans with a big company. They got bought out after 3 years of doing that. And so we all got laid off, but I got a 2 month severance, which at the time I was like, holy crap, $4,000. Like, and I didn't like earn it because I was like, I didn't have to work for it. I was like, here's $4,000. I was like, I get to live on $4,000 and not go to work every day. Like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
So I took like a month off and did nothing besides hang out and party. And then I answered a Craigslist ad for a guy who owned an SEO company way back then. So I met up with him. It was in his apartment. He was a one-man show, had his second bedroom turned into like an office. And I learned all about search engine optimization working with him for about, it was about 2 or 3 years. I worked with him side by side. So I just got hired on as a writer, which I love to do. I was like, I just always loved the written word and did that. And then I kind of moved up the ranks because it was only me and him. So he was like, "Do you want to do sales?" I'm like, "Sure." "Do you want to do project management?" "Yeah, I'll learn project management." "Do you want to do the technical stuff, which I learned a little bit of that. So I learned all about entrepreneurship through him for like 3 years, and just fell in love with the idea of being able to create your own future, and like how hard you work and how many sales you make is how much money you earn, as opposed to like a steady paycheck every week. No matter what you do, you're getting that same number every week.
Yeah.
Plus getting laid off like we did, it was kind of like, you pour your heart into a company for 3 years, and then all of a sudden you show up one day and you get an email that's like, come to the office. You go to the office and they're like, sorry, you're gone. And you're like, what? Like, that's not how life should work. But so that left a bad taste in my mouth, but it was really the greatest blessing ever, because it kind of turned me off from the corporate world and turned me into the, like, go out and make your own path type of thing. So I worked with him for 3 years, maybe four. And I started really missing my family. So all my family's back east. So when I went out there, it was basically like me. I had a girlfriend at the time. So it was like me, her, and her group of friends. And I'm just not like super social, going out and meeting like a ton of people and creating those friendships myself. So after like 5 years, my sister had a baby, was having a second baby. I just started missing my family. I was kind of like, I'm the vacant uncle and like the brother who doesn't exist anymore. So I was planning on moving back, and I called my brother, who's 3 years younger than me. He was just graduating college. And I said, hey, if I move back home, do you want to start an SEO company with me? Like, I think I learned enough about this stuff out here that I could bring the skill set home and we could just start a business. And he was like, hell yeah, because then I don't have to look for a job. Like, cool, let's do it. So that was 2010. I guess 2010, came back here, started that, got one or two clients just through like family referrals and friendships and stuff. And it's just grown organically since then.
That's great that you were able to do that so long, or so, like, now SEO, everybody knows
Yeah.
about it, but 10, 15 years ago,
Yeah.
were people
I
like, what's
know.
SEO?
I
What?
know. And
SEO?
especially on the East Coast, it was funny because when I came back and started it, I was pitching this stuff. I was like, listen, I can get your website to rank on Google for, like, one of our first clients was a big hotel here. I was like, if you go to Google and type in hotels, Lancaster, PA, like, where are you? And they were like, I don't know, like page one, page two. There we are, page three. And I'm like, I can get you on page one. And they're like, what do you mean you can get me on page one? I'm like, that's what search engine optimization is. And they're like, let's do it. And like back, even 15 years ago in California, there were more than a handful of companies doing it. And when I came back here and started it, I think we had maybe one or two competitors that I was hearing of that understood what it was and how to do it properly. So we were ahead of the game, 15 years ago in terms of offering a service that I learned on the West Coast and brought it back to the East Coast.
Amazing. So then did you learn like PPC, all the website design, all that stuff?
Yeah, yep. So the 2010 to 12, all we did was SEO because that's what I learned in California. It's kind of like my bread and butter. And then we ended up referring a lot of business out to other agencies because we would get websites to the first page, and then a client was paying us $1,000 a month. After 6 months, they were dominating the first page for all their keywords. They're getting a ton of qualified traffic, but they weren't really getting many calls or like form submissions. So they would come to us and be like, well, we want to stop service because what you're doing doesn't work. And we would be like, the data shows like what we do works. The broken piece of the puzzle is your website. Like, your website sucks. So we would then make, suggestions on ways to improve conversions on your website and kind of like user experience, all that stuff. And we didn't have the skill set or the teammate to do those changes. So the client would be like, well, yeah, if making those changes is going to grow our business, let's do it. So then we ended up sourcing that out to other agencies to make those changes that had the teammates to do that. And we did that probably for like 6 months or so. And it was pretty much like an immediate aha light bulb moment, which was like, we're losing money by sending it out. And we're also putting ourselves at risks because now those other agencies are starting to offer SEO. So they would say to the client, like, yeah, we can make those website changes for you. And while we're at it, why don't we just do your SEO as well? So not that they were poaching our clients, because we still manage that communication line, but the opportunity for them to poach was there. So we were like, we should close that door. So in like 2012, we started offering some design and development stuff. And then right around then, 2012, 2013 is when social media like really started making a big push for like businesses. And it was just not like Facebook friends and stuff like that. I was like, okay, businesses can benefit from this type of advertising and marketing. So right around 2000, when we first launched, we were affordable SEO success because that's all we did was SEO. And then in 2013, when we started including more services, we were like, well, we can't really be SEO success, affordable SEO success, because we do more than just SEO. So we rebranded to RODA Marketing. RODA is my last name, and we have so many aunts and uncles and cousins in Lancaster that have the RODA last name that we were like, why not lean on that? And I could tell you, I would in-person meetings, when I jump on calls with people locally, at least 5 to 7 out of 10 people are like, "Oh, do you know Mark Rhoda? Oh, do you know John? Do you know whoever?" So it's a great conversation starter. And most of the time, I'm like, it's a cousin of a cousin of a cousin. I think, like, I don't know him personally, but it's still like they trust us initially because the last name's Rhoda. So we
Yeah,
were like, why try to get too creative with like a cool agency name? Let's just use our last name with marketing, and it pretty much spells it out for people.
that's cool. What is,
Yeah.
I mean, I know you said you started out SEO, social media kind of took a huge turn. What are
Yep.
some other changes that you've noticed since you started with SEO that you had to adjust?
Yeah. So reputation management is a big one. People
Hmm.
generating online reviews. We've been pushing that for our clients for quite a few years, and there's software out there that automates it. Like you have to basically like go and type in their name, email, and phone number, and then you can send like a text message for a request and like a follow up email after 24 hours. We design postcards for people that are actually seeing people in person, which is like, hey, if we did a great job, scan this QR code, leave us a review on Google. So we've done our best in a lot of ways to make it as easy as possible for our clients to generate reviews. But even asking a client to remember to log into their account and add a name, email, phone number and hit submit, we're finding out is too much to ask of certain like clients or almost all clients. Like you have to turn it into part of your standard operating procedure, and just they don't like they'll be like, yeah, great idea, like sign us up. So we sign them up, we send them an instruction list, a video tutorial, and then we check every like 2 months, like how many reviews did they get, and it's not going up. And I'm like, all you have to do is every time you get a happy client, literally like A, B, C, click, you're done. And
Yeah,
it's not getting done. So I just linked up with a guy from Apex who automates it even more than that, where literally the client doesn't have to log into an account and do that. They just basically like they're added into their CRM, and then that CRM knows to send it and knows to follow up and knows to follow up again. So that's a big one. And I always say to people, like, you could be the best in the world at what you do, but if you have 5 reviews and your competitor who might be the worst in the world at what they do and they have 50 good reviews, because like out of 1,000 they got 50 lucky ones and they got those 5-star reviews, most consumers are just going to go and do a star comparison and be like, 550, they must be better, I'm choosing them. So it really hurts businesses not to have those online reviews. Specifically Google, I find, is like the biggest one that people go to. So we're trying to push that. Paid advertising, we partner with a company that does paid ads, so Facebook and Instagram ads. um, I just don't want to develop the team to have to do that. And so we found a company that specializes in that stuff. And I'm grateful that we don't do that, because the rules of that game change so often with like operating systems and Apple rules and regulations and stuff like that, where I feel like almost every week they're like, oh, we have to change something because now we're not allowed to do it this way. We have to switch it up that way. So it's one of those things. SEO, it's funny. Google will update their algorithms. I don't even know if it's hundreds of times a year, but so many times it's almost impossible to keep track of. And we monitor it and we watch it, but we never really have to change what we do for our clients, because luckily when I learned SEO 15 years ago, it was like, go after keywords that are relevant for your business. So like, don't try to spam the system. Don't do black hat techniques with like cloaking keywords and like black font on a black background so the consumer doesn't see it, but the search engine does. Create good content. And really, like, that's it. Like, as long as you play by the rules and follow what I would consider like basic etiquette of like internet marketing, marketing in general, and just like
mhm.
human interaction in general, the algorithm changes don't affect us. So, a lot of times clients would be like, oh, did you see this big algorithm change? What do we need to do? And I'm like, nothing. Like, we're doing it the proper way. So you don't have to worry about, does Google all of a sudden say, too many ads above the fold is going to have a negative impact on your score and your results. Like, we don't do that type of stuff. So it's constantly changing, but I feel like as long as you're doing it ethically and like, and that's, SEO or anything in general, as long as you're doing it ethically and you have creativity behind it and a good strategy and it's like getting you closer to your goals, it's a pretty basic thing that we do.
That's a good little lesson in life anyway. If you stick,
Yeah.
keep a high moral ground, basically you don't have to worry about all the bullshit underneath because you're above it anyway.
Yep. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's why I always say to people, man, I go to bed at night and my head hits the pillow, and within like, you could ask my wife, within like 3 minutes, I'm passed out, because I'm not running like worst case scenarios. I'm not worried about shit. because
Yeah.
I know what we're doing is the right thing. We treat our clients like family. We go the extra mile for them. Like we just run a what I would consider like a reputable, honest business. And that's just like the way I was born and raised. So to me, it's like, how would you even think to run it otherwise? But yeah, it's
Yeah.
in life in general, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Are you in any kind of niche for your digital marketing, or is it just all over?
All over. Yeah, we've tried probably once or twice. At one point, we went just to go after dentists because we've had my brother-in-law's a dentist. We've been working with him for pretty much since we began, like 11 years at this point. And we hear some of the numbers that he shares. He's like, "Yeah, I pay you guys $1,000 a month, and I just got a $30,000 like mouth makeover." I'm like, Jesus, that's one client that like paid for like
Increase
3
our
years of our
prices.
service. Yeah, man. So I knew that's like I knew we could get results there, and I knew it's a profitable niche for like that type of result or for that service. But no, we just work with anybody. Our main ones are like home improvement contractors, home remodelers, attorneys, dentists, eye doctors. A lot of like B2C type of businesses is where we kind of special. If I had to say, do we specialize in anything? It's B2C.
Yeah. Is it just in the location you're in?
No, no. Most of our clients, I'd say at 50, 60% of them are central PA based. We have a partnership with a national company, um, and they send us clients from all over the country. They have 9 regional offices located all across the country. Their sales reps sell their specific service. And then if when that client also says anything about we need help with our website or social media or whatever it is with the digital marketing stuff, they then refer them to us, and then we provide the service kind of like white labeled through them. So
Yeah.
since that's happened, that's been about a 1.5, 2 year relationship. Now all of a sudden we have clients from all over the country. Prior to that, 90% of our clients were local from just like word of mouth referrals. I'm part of 1 or 2 networking groups, stuff like that.
Yeah. It's funny when you're talking about the reviews. I was just looking for something yesterday. I forget what it was. But I read the first one. Oh, it was like Bose little sound system, right? For my
Yep.
wife likes to play ocean music at night or ocean
Yep.
sound. And so I went on there and I looked at the reviews. Like there's a lot of bots, right? Now I guess on
Yeah.
Amazon they try to crack down on that, but you have a bunch of people who with shady tactics, whether they because I used to do Amazon, Facebook, what is it, FBA? What it was?
Okay.
Facebook by Amazon, yeah. But there's tactics you can like if you do a giveaway and you get those. So I
Yeah.
always read those reviews to
Yep.
make sure they're a legit person. And sometimes you can tell the English is way off. I'm like, this is a
Yep.
total bullshit review.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you were talking about reviews, I was thinking about that, but it's
Yeah.
interesting. And there's so many different tactics to get the reviews, right? And but
Yep.
it's not even with that. That's just Amazon. I mean, if you're not on the Amazon channel, there's So I'm a big review guy. Like even when we travel, we're going to a new
Yeah.
hotel. I look at them, and then I see if people are just assholes. Like some people, if
Yeah.
you have the time to leave a review, to me, generally, like you either have to be really pissed off or
Yep.
hey, I enjoyed the experience. But there's some people like oh, an ant crawled across my foot when I was outside. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, come on, like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And it might
So
have bitten me. Like, go
yeah,
away. Yeah.
yeah. So I do filter through the reviews and see what's good and what's not. And I generally try to go to the bottom of the 1-star ones first
Yeah.
and see
Yep.
what kind of stuff they're talking about.
Yep.
So yeah,
And
review.
then even on part of that too, what I always tell like we tell all of our clients, like you said, you're bound to get some negative reviews. Like it's just the way of the world. But
Yeah,
what I look for as a consumer is how does that business owner handle that review? So is it like and it's shocking sometimes when one of our clients gets a negative review and they're like, I responded, go check it out. And we read it and it's like, oh God, no, we're like, delete it. Like we'll
yeah,
rewrite it for you. And it's like, how dare you? No, that was wrong. You're not even in our system. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Like you sound defensive. You're kind of
yeah,
mean. Like, no, like you always take the high road. It's like, we're sorry you didn't enjoy your experience. If there's anything we could do to make it better, like we definitely want to do that. So that's something else we teach our clients is like, if by some chance you do get a negative review, one, like, first of all, we're monitoring that. So we know it before the client knows it.
yeah,
So then we're also like, we'll write the draft up. We'll send it to them and be like, hey, Matt wrote this review and it's not good. Here's what we think we should say back. And they're like, yeah, post it or like, I want to edit a little bit, whatever it is. But seeing those responses, it just shows like the humans behind the brand. And to me, that builds trust that even if it was a bad experience, if the business owner acknowledges it and does something to correct it, I trust that business owner way more than a 1-star review that left negative feedback and there's no response from the owner because it's like, what are they hiding behind? Like, are they Like, is that their motive? And like, that's what they do all the time. And this person just called them out on it and they don't even care, or like, what's
Yeah.
the story behind that lack of response? So,
Yeah. I have an apparel company and I used to not go to war with, but I used to be like little snide remarks. If somebody says something, I'm like,
yeah,
and then I was like, you know what? Now I give them I give them a discount code. I'm like, you know what? Hey,
yep,
whatever it is,
yep,
it's not, the end of the world. And I
yep.
had one guy come at me pretty hard and I responded harshly. And then we kind of went back and forth on Instagram. And he's like, I'm just busting your balls. I think you got a great product. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
gave him a hat or whatever. He's like, no, I don't want the hat. I'll buy the hat. I'm like, all right, dude. But it
yeah,
just,
yeah, sold. Yeah,
it just, I think, and especially nowadays, you can communicate with anybody, like celebrities, business owners. It's all accessible. I don't
yep.
think, as a business owner, I think it's crucial that you go, hey, if there's a problem, how can we rectify it? Like, what can we do
That's
to?
exactly it. Yep,
You're going to gain more, and then he'll tell that, or he or she will tell that experience, as opposed
exactly.
to, oh, this guy's a dick, da 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 da.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
well, so you were only in the corporate world for a little bit. What lessons have you learned being an entrepreneur?
Oh man. Um, the biggest one I would probably put my finger on is like belief in yourself. Like there's, and even so, like, I've been an entrepreneur. I failed. How many businesses did I start and fail in California? Probably three or five. And when I say start and fail, it's like it was an idea that I put $5,000 towards, and then like immediately was like, that's not going to work. And I like tried something else and put $10,000, and I was like, that's not going to work. Try something else, and I ended up racking up like $70,000 or $80,000 in credit card debt when I was in California for 5 years. Just like,
Welcome
hey,
to
I was,
California.
yeah, I know, yeah. One like caveat to that was when I say I got in a lot of trouble in high school and college, I smoked weed all day, every day. So part of that $70,000 or $80,000 was like $300 cash withdrawal. So I get a bag of weed, so I go start another business and fail at it. So,
Yeah.
um, I did that in California. I never stopped believing that like I could do it and that like something was going to click and stick for me.
Hmm.
Um, and then even when we started RODA Marketing, the first, or I guess the Fort Busio success back then, first like I don't even know, first 3 or 4 or 5 years, it was like it was a grind, and like we barely got paid enough to pay our bills. Like it was like skin of your teeth kind of margins. And then you bring a teammate on, and it's like, okay, now they need to get paid more than us. And then sometimes we were skipping paychecks. And even through that, it was just like, I can do this. Like we could figure this out if we were doing it for the right reasons and in the right ways. Like the universe will unfold and like give you what you need. Um, and even since RODA Marketing, I've tried, started, and failed. Like I think I failed 2 apparel brands, and I printed up like 100 shirts. I'm like, this is the greatest logo ever. People are gonna love this. And like printed them, like put them online. No one bought them. And like I probably still have a bin over there of like 100 t-shirts. Maybe I donated them recently, but like stuff like that. But it's just that like keep pushing forward and like do not stop. Like you got to make that 1% improvement every day. And now it's business and in life, but when you're a business owner, entrepreneur, like your business and your life kind of like morph into one thing. So if you're doing that in life, it generally translates well into the business world. And even now, like 12 years, 13 years into it with RODA Marketing, and then this made out of metal sign business, which is just barely getting off the ground and like barely making us any money. But for me, it's more fun than anything, because like the smile people get when they like hold it and are like, this is huge and heavy, and like I love it. I've always said I wanted to have a business with a tangible product that I could create and give to people, as opposed to my service-based marketing business where I just help other people sell their products.
Hmm.
All that said, and the reason I'm saying that is like I'm not raking in big bucks right now. Like we make a comfortable living, but like I'm friends with a lot of people who make a boatload more money than I do. And I just wake up every day and I'm like, it's going to take care of itself. Like if I keep doing what I need to do, I stay focused, I work hard, I stay disciplined, I do the right things for the right reasons, and I continue to learn and evolve and grow personally and professionally, like I'll hit my big payday. Like that big idea is on the horizon. And that unwavering faith is just something that constantly gets me through and I don't even experience tough times, but like tougher times where it's like, I don't have a ton of money in savings right now. Like we just bought our dream house a year and a half ago and like depleted our savings pretty much to get it, and like started kind of back down to zero. And,
Hmm.
I'm looking at, I'm like, okay, I've got 2 kids here and 2 more on the way. I'm like, holy shit. Like it would be really cool to have like a boatload of money in savings and a ton of investments right now that I could just like take a sigh of relief and be like, okay, my financial future is taken care of. And it's not. So I'm like, most people like my brother who 3 years younger, and I'll give him a shout out. He's the most disciplined human being on earth when it comes to money. And he's got investment properties. He has a dog sitting business where it's like, a lot of cash is coming in. He's reinvesting. He's just super smart with money. He could probably retire today at 36 and be financially secure the rest of his life. And then there's me, like 40 and like almost 40 and nowhere near that. And he's like, dude, and like, I just, our car broke down, or we got a recall on our Volkswagen Atlas like a month ago, and there's not a fix for it. So I was like, let's just get a new car. My wife's like, yeah, because that's not safe to drive. So she was on board with it. But my brother's like, what are you gonna like? You're gonna just go into another car payment? I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Like, so I went and got my like dream Tahoe, and he's like, you just spent $60,000 on a used car, like low mileage, like it's a good buy. He's like, I would never do that, and I'm like, I know you wouldn't. Like, that's just the way you're wired. I'm wired differently, But through all of that, like, I seriously have this unwavering faith that like it will all work out for me.
Yeah.
Like, even if times get tough, like if people are tough, you get through them. So
Yeah. That's good to hear, because like people who are thinking about starting a business, they got to know the ins and outs. It's not going to be every idea is going to be $1 million idea. You're not going to be start a company one day and be on a yacht a year later.
yeah,
It's a tough grind, and people
yep,
think it's easy to leave the corporate 9 to 5 gigs, but it's definitely a
yeah.
different mentality for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's the illusion that's sold to the entrepreneurs. Like the I might want to be an entrepreneur business owner is like, yeah, because you see the guys like flaunting their Lamborghinis and like, you know, buy my course for 3,000 and I could teach you how to drive a Lamborghini in 2 weeks. And you're like, I mean, maybe that happens. I've never met someone where it happened like that.
Neither have
I don't
I.
think it happens, but like
Yeah.
maybe it does. But yeah, it's not. It's I say to a lot of people a lot of times, like if I didn't love being home, work from home so much and spend like multiple times throughout the day with my family and like go for walks with them throughout the day and like have that, I could probably make 5 times more than what I currently make from like monetary standpoint.
Yeah.
And that's appealing because you could like clock in at 8, clock out at 5, done. Clock in at 8, clock out at 5, done. And like weekends, no. And like there's a certain appeal to that because it's like it's structured,
Secure.
it's secure, for as much as
Yeah.
you can be secured anywhere.
Yeah.
And then with like business owner, it's like wake up, fire to put out, go to bed, like wake up, fire to put out. In the evenings, work when the kids get to bed. Weekends, if I need to, I'm doing stuff like that. And I'm like I said, I'm not making a boatload of money yet. So it's like some people look at me and be like, why are you doing what you do? And for me, it's freedom. Like
Yeah.
money is great. And I work for money and like I want more money to come to me and I trust that it will. But the freedom that I have right now with my time and schedule and all that is what's priceless to me, what I wouldn't change for the world.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I spend a lot of time with my son, and I'm surfing and stuff, and people are like, "What do you do? Like, how do you get to do that?" I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not all roses and
Yeah.
sitting on a beach somewhere, but
Yeah.
when I get time to spend with my son and surf, then that's the priority, number one priority. I had a
Absolutely.
business partner that we went and venture with, and he's like, "Hey, when you get back from Cabo, we need to get serious, and you need to stop spending the beach time." I'm like, "Look, and I'm a dad first, and the
Yep.
business is second at this time.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
just need to, and we cut ties, but it was no harm, no foul. I wasn't mad at him.
Yeah.
My priorities were aligned different than his was at the time.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, so I know we met through a mastermind group. How important do you think it is to be part of? I mean, I could speak on it as well, but I want your opinion on
Yeah.
mastermind groups. How valuable do you think they are?
I cannot uh, emphasize enough how important they are. Getting around. So the first one was ever joined was Mike's Inner Circle. And I'll pronounce his name wrong here and he'll kill me if he hears this probably, but Mike Fallett or Follett, or I think Fallett.
I won't
I
even
should
try
know.
it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me screw it up for you. Yeah. That guy. But yeah, he put something online, I don't know how many, a year, 2 years ago, and was like patriotic, like for the country, for the cause, like for entrepreneurship. And it was like $17 a month. And I was like, shit, I'm joining that. Cause like he was successful. He, self-publishes books for people. It's like, if I can get around other people like him. So he does like once a month call where everyone jumps on Zoom and like, it's kind of like a share your wins, any challenges you're experiencing, and just like, bounce ideas off of each other. They've been invaluable. They've led to quite a few relationships that I have with people now, like friendships on social media because I haven't met them in person, but also like business opportunities, things like that. And then I guess it was December, I joined Apex, which was a little bit more of an investment. And I had wanted to join that for a while, but it just wasn't the right time. But I joined that in December, and they talk about in that group family of choice, the FOC. And to me, that's what masterminds are all about. Like you're born into a family, like, a family. You don't really get to choose that family. Unfortunately for me, like I would choose my family if I had the option, because they're all great people. So, but a lot of people, that's not the case. So you're kind of stuck around people where you're not learning from them, you're not growing with them, and they're kind of stagnant and maybe keeping you in the same position. And then same thing with your group of like friends, like your core friends that you spend your most time with. With masterminds, you get to like literally cut ties with anyone that's not serving you and your purpose, and where you can help them serve their purpose, and choosing to surround yourself with people who are on the same path as you. And for Apex, man, like so I've got a RODA Marketing made out of metal, and I'm launching a Battlefield brand. Right now it's like a personal coaching where I do like health and fitness and mindset. And I've got one client, and I just launched my website for that. So I want to start pushing out a little bit more, but even more excited than that specific part, I actually want to launch my own mastermind group here in Central PA for business owners and C-level executives, kind of like a networking group, but not the standard meet once a week, count your referrals, blah, 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 like beat you to death with the same old, but more of like a leadership group. Of course, we're going to refer business to each other because we know, like, and trust each other. Personal development, personal excellence, and just get surrounded by more and more people like that. So I would not have had that idea or the inspiration, or I guess the guts or courage to try to launch something like that, had I not been part of Apex and Mike's inner circle and seen firsthand that those things work. Like Mike's got, I think, 250 to 300 members in it. Apex, I think, is 1,000 plus. And I'm like, you know what, if I could even get 50 to 100 people to join a mastermind group here in Lancaster, PA, and like Central PA based, like, A, I can make a little bit of money doing it, but B, like one of my biggest goals in life in general. And when you said dad first, like that's it for me. I want to raise what I call like little spiritual warriors that just like go out into the world and make a positive difference in whatever forum that is. I don't care what career they would ever choose or anything, as long as they're making a positive difference. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, that's what I want to do with my businesses, is like, and with my marketing business, I don't really get a chance to do that because I'm helping business owners grow their business. It's not like personal development stuff that I really like, I'm passionate about. So this Battlefield Brands business that I'm launching is 100% focused on making other people better, so then they can in turn go out and inspire their kids or their employees or whoever it is, and just have this huge ripple effect on the world of positivity. So
that's awesome.
Join a mastermind group if you haven't.
Yeah, maybe after this we can start racking our brains together, because I'm doing the same thing for the same reason. I'm in another mastermind that I met Mike from, and when I talked to Mike about writing a book, I mean, everything just started clicking. Like, I just love talking to that dude. And so I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to start a mastermind group. I'm heavily into self-defense and tactical training.
Awesome.
So I'm going to start a group. There's been people that I know who are scared of doing things because they're scared of confrontation, or they have people they're with and they don't know how to protect them. And that's gut wrenching to me. Like, don't be scared to leave your home. I mean, yes, be aware, be such, there's tons of things. What basically is what it's going to be is make the average person hard to kill. Protect your family, basically, and just having self-defense, and everybody needs to be safe and not be scared to walk out the house. And so I'm going to create a group, because influenced by Mike and Mark Evans, which I'm part of that group as well. And I just, I was talking to my wife about it the other day, and I have all my blueprints, I have everything I'm doing. But then when she asked me about it, talking about it, kind of was like, look, I see Mark, I see Mike, I'm just going to reverse engineer what they have with my expertise and stuff. And it's like, I would never have thought, like you said, I would never have thought about that a month, 2 months ago, unless I was in these mastermind groups. A huge value. And then I was on Mark's call the other day. He does a weekly call, and I just posted in the chat like, hey, I've been more active on social, and I got people that I haven't even talked to in years, and some strangers ask me about it. And so he asked me about it on his weekly call. And I just started going on and on about it. And I said, sorry, I don't mean to hijack your call here. And there was 100 people on it. And
Yeah.
a lot of them started asking me questions, and I was like, well, shit, this might actually be something. And so
Yep.
they all hit me up on the side, said, yeah, I'll be a part of that group. Let me know. And like the positive networking, like
Yeah.
if you're hanging out with five dipshits, you're the sixth one. So like all
Exactly
these
right.
people are awesome, and whatever level, like a lot of real estate guys. I'm not in real estate, but just the networking alone has
Yeah.
been invaluable to me, and I think masterminds are huge. And
Yeah.
I had Mark on the podcast, Mark Evans, and I said, if you had 10K to invest, where would new investors go? And his answer surprised me. He said, 10K, invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Join mastermind groups, read books,
Yep.
learn, get knowledge on whatever you want to do, but 10K into yourself. And I was like, I wasn't expecting that answer. I was like, maybe
Yeah.
crypto or this or that. And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
like
Let
investing.
something else do the work for me. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think masterminds are huge, and
Yeah.
we're both in the same state of mind, so I like it. So
Yeah. Make
yeah,
a note there. Let me know when you launch it. I would definitely join that group
yeah, I
because
will.
I've got my handgun upstairs and my AR-15. Like, I'm a competent shooter, but I'm not super confident. Like, I don't necessarily carry all the time because I'm like, when and where should I like be prepared to use it? And then like, how confident would I be if some like shit hit the fan? Like, would I be the hero, like confident to like step in between, or would I be a little bitch who like runs the other direction? I'm carrying and I could end it. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm right there with you in terms of that knowledge being powerful, especially, as an individual walking around, but when you're with, four kids and your wife, like
yeah.
it just takes on a different persona.
And that's what I like about the training that I do. It's all scenario based. So
Yeah.
I've been involved in MMA and fighting and all that, and I can handle myself. But now I have an 8-year-old and my wife. So
Yeah.
if somebody confronts me, I can't just fight them and not worry about it. I have to worry about now, where's my
Yep.
son? Where's my wife? Did I take
Yeah.
the threat away from them? There's so many different scenarios that I would have never have thought of unless I was involved in it. And so that's
Yeah.
kind of information I want to share. It's not like, how to look for violence or how to look for something way ahead of time.
No.
My son and I and my wife have safe words. So if we're walking on the street and I see something out of order, I say watermelon, and he knows. He gets right behind me and holds onto my belt buckle. Well, I'm
It's
in
awesome.
board shorts all the time, but he gets close in
Yeah.
case I have to swing. And then he actually brought it to my attention. He goes, "Well, Dad, I said it one time," and he got behind me and we did all that. And then we kept walking, and he goes, "Dad, what's the word that tells me I can relax now?" I go, "That's a good point."
Yeah.
Okay, so
Little dude's all
watermelon.
tense up. He's like, what? Like, what?
He's like, "Can
Yeah.
we chill now?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
pineapple. We'll make pineapple
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
chill word."
That's awesome.
So yeah,
Yeah. And I'm just going to throw this out there, and you probably already thought this through, but as part of that training too, my biggest concern, is my wife goes to Target with my two kids, our two daughters, without me because I can't go like everywhere all the time.
yeah,
And you hear like the horror stories where like they follow her around, they like someone like calls in like, okay, she's going out to the parking lot, she turns around to like put stuff in the car, and then like all of a sudden a van rips up and like grabs a kid and like poof,
yeah,
like they're gone. Training like that, I would pay just for me to know how to protect what's mine and when I'm around, but
yeah,
that next level of like including situational awareness that I could then share with my wife and be like, when you're in a parking lot, like here's what you do, like, and whatever.
yeah,
I don't even know what it looks like, but stuff like that. Because
yeah.
if you would say, Matt, what's your biggest fear in life? It'd be something happening to my wife and kids when I'm not around. Like, period, point
100%.
blank. Like, it would kill me to know that had I made a decision that day to go to Target because I could have technically and I didn't. Like, and then shit happened. Like she doesn't carry. She's not comfortable with the gun. So like, I get that. I respect that. Part of me is like, please do, because then you could, but I'm like, but if you are, but you're not comfortable with it, that's probably worse than having it and being like, so just, yeah, I'm just blurbing right now,
No,
but
you're
yeah,
good.
that kind of stuff, man, like that's where my fear resides. If I have fear in life, is something like that happens. So if you could proactively help me help her in that situation, I'd be all for it.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what this group's going to be about. Like, if I don't have the answers, I'm going to have people on
Yeah.
who spend their whole life doing this, train SEALs, train this and that. And I just want people not to be afraid, especially in this crazy world we're living in now these
Yeah.
days. And unfortunately, these assholes go out and do some shady shit, and they don't even get arrested. And if they do, I'm in
Slap on the
California.
wrist and they come back. Yeah.
Yeah, our governor says, "Oh, you have more rights than the family just attacked. Peace
Yeah.
out." And they let them out, which is
Yeah.
why I have a lot of guns and I'm I'm well
Yeah.
trained because
Yeah. Absolutely, man.
unfortunately in California they looked at us as like we're the
You're
assholes.
the
Like
enemy.
they have
Yeah.
more rights than we do, and it's
Yep.
mind-boggling to me. But
Yeah.
instead of bitching about it, I want to be prepared for it. So
Yeah, dude. No, I'm all for it, man. For sure. Let me know if you're not posting it online. Like if you want a couple members in to give you feedback, whatever, I'd be honored to
perfect.
be part of it.
I appreciate it. Well, we got sidetracked, but where do you see yourself
Yeah.
in the next 10 years? With, I mean, you're going to be busy with your kids and everybody, but
Yeah.
as far as business and being an entrepreneur, where do you see yourself?
Yeah. So 10 years, I want little spiritual warriors running around and changing the world. And, my wife and I have a beautiful relationship like we have now. That's kind of top of the list, priority A. Business wise, in 10 years, I think we'll have probably sold RODA Marketing. I don't know. I'm almost 40. I don't know if I want to be. I say that now, and I said this to my buddy the other day, and he's like, "Well, if you right now, I say I want to sell it within 5 or 10 years because I'm working in the business and it's not burning me out, but I'm experiencing some levels of burnout because I'm not doing what I'm passionate about on a daily basis. Like I'm stuck in it." And he's like, dude, if you get out of it and it's a well-oiled machine and it's, making other people money and it's making you money, why would you want to sell it? And I'm like, it's a good fucking point. So right now, like ask me that today and where I'm like, after this call, I've got like tasks I got to complete. And I'm like, I want to sell this thing in the next 5 or 10 years. Ask me 5 years from now or 3 years from now when I've pulled myself out of it and I'm working on it, I may not have the same answer. But yeah, I mean, that with the Battlefield coaching stuff and the Battlefield brands, I want that to change the world. So I want that to be like a big, reputable, sought after mastermind group in Central PA. I didn't even bring this up yet, but I also have, as part of the Battlefield brand, so I have my personal coaching, I have the mastermind for business owners and C-level executives. I want to also launch Battlefield Next Gen, which focuses on like the 17 to 22-year-olds and getting them prepared for life and helping them position themselves after high school, going into college and in the real world, position them where that's when I went off track, was like 16 to, I hate to admit it, but like from 16 to 33 for me was like
I was
my
going to
shit.
say 31 for me.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't want to, that's why I don't want them to spend 15 years of their lives figuring out how to get where they should get much, much sooner. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like the mastermind for the C-level execs and business owners. I'm going to love doing that and I'll find a lot of joy in that. But that's not even my greatest passion and focus. It's that younger generation, because that's when I went off the deep end. And I feel like if I could provide, like guys like you, women like, other people I'm connected with, could give kids at that age guidance to keep them from going off the wrong path and create more leaders that then can go out and inspire their friends.
Yeah.
That's where I will find my greatest joy in life. So I 10 years, I hope that brand, that division of my brand is making a huge positive impact on the world by getting to those kids at that age and changing their projection of their future. And then my brother and I are looking into maybe a franchise opportunity around here. So in 10 years, I would hope that we have multiple locations opened up for that franchise. If that goes well. And who knows? I've always, like, last couple of years, I've been like, I want to invest in real estate because you see all the people like flipping houses and multiple doors, and I own X condos, and I'm like, shit, like I need to be doing that, but I'm not in a position right now to do that. So
Yeah.
I'd like to have some type of residual income and retirement plan through real estate in 10 years, but we'll see. That's kind of like, that was a big push earlier this year. Was like, I need to do real estate. I need to do it. And then as I started developing other stuff, and kind of like what Mark said to you with like, take the 10,000, what should you do with it? Invest in yourself. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Is like, I don't have a ton of money to invest. So what I do have, I want to pour into me, because like I said, that unwavering faith that I have in me is bigger than any specific opportunity out there. If I can get me right and keep me right, then the right opportunity will find me, and I'll just like, I'll vibe with it, sync up with it when the time is right.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. I think we're so aligned. Like we're on different parts of the country, but
Yeah.
everything you've said, I'm like, yep, 100%.
Check,
Like,
check. Yeah.
yeah, I love it. So how do people find you on Instagram, social media, if they want to reach
Yeah.
out to you?
Yep. So Facebook and Instagram is where I spend most of my time. I'm also on LinkedIn. All three of those places are just at Matthew Roda. I have MatthewRoda.com. From there, you could find my BattlefieldCoaching.com website sooner than later, probably this week, maybe into next. BattlefieldMastermind.com will be available. But yeah, really the best place is just social media, Facebook, Instagram. Connect with me there, message me there. And then if we need to have a conversation or we want to have a conversation outside of those social platforms, I'm happy to like give my phone number and or just like my email address, stuff like that.
Perfect. Well, Matt, I super gracious for your time this morning. It's been
Likewise,
about an
man.
hour. I know you got a lot of tasks to do, and but the sign behind you is awesome. I love those.
Thank you. I
I'll
appreciate
be
it.
reaching out to you, and somehow maybe not so detailed on mine, but I
We can
love those
simplify
signs.
that. Yeah.
So thank you again for the time today. It was great talking to you
My
and learning
absolute
more about
pleasure.
you, and I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Thank you for having me.
All right, Matt. Talk to you soon.
Take it easy. Yep.
All
Have a
right.
good one.